We have all seen the dazzling, perfectly polished commercials, the infinite buffets, the crystal-clear infinity pools, the sun-kissed top decks, and the promise of a peaceful, luxurious vacation on the open ocean. But the ocean is a wild, untamed wilderness, and it does not care about your vacation itinerary. Every year, despite having access to state-of-the-art radar, satellite tracking, and advanced weather prediction systems, massive, multi-billion-dollar floating cities find themselves caught in the inescapable wrath of Mother Nature. Bomb cyclones, unexpected squalls, and terrifying rogue waves can turn a luxury resort into a chaotic survival situation in a matter of minutes. You have probably seen the viral clips spreading across social media. But what really happens inside a modern cruise ship when the weather turns violently against it? How does a vessel weighing over 150,000 tons react when struck by 30-foot waves? And most importantly, what is the raw, unedited reality of being trapped inside one of these steel giants when the ocean goes to war? Today, we are taking a deep dive into the physics, the incredible engineering, and the sheer, unpredictable chaos of a cruise ship in a severe storm. There are no myths here, and no Hollywood exaggerations, just the terrifying and fascinating reality. The transition from a calm, relaxing cruise to a high-stress maritime event does not always happen in an instant. Often, the very first signs that things are about to get uncomfortably rough are subtle. As the sea swells begin to rise, the ship introduces an entirely new soundtrack to your vacation. Modern cruise ships are brilliant feats of engineering, and a key part of that engineering is flexibility. If a ship were perfectly rigid, the immense, crushing force of the ocean would simply snap it in half. Because of this necessary flexibility, as the massive waves hit the hull, the entire superstructure begins to groan. You will hear the heavy metal creaking inside the walls of your cabin. The suspended ceilings in the long corridors will start to squeak and rattle. It is an eerie, deeply unsettling symphony of human engineering actively fighting against the raw power of nature. Soon after the noises begin, you feel the undeniable shift in motion. You will experience the pitch and the roll. Pitching is when the bow, or the front of the ship, violently rises and crashes back down into the water, making you feel entirely weightless for a split second, much like being on a slow-motion drop tower at an amusement park. Rolling is the side-to-side motion. When a ship rolls past 5 or 10 degrees, the illusion of being in a stable, floating hotel shatters completely. Gravity suddenly feels like an unreliable concept. If you want to know exactly how bad a storm is getting, you only need to look at the swimming pools on the top deck. This is usually where the visual chaos truly begins. Inside the ship's massive pools, the water acts as a perfect, terrifying visual indicator of the ship's movement. But the water is not just splashing around. It is demonstrating a phenomenon known in marine engineering as the free surface effect. As the massive ship tilts to one side, thousands of gallons of heavy water rush to that side all at once, crashing violently against the walls of the pool and launching high into the air, flooding the deck and sweeping away heavy wooden lounge chairs like toys. This is not just a messy inconvenience, it actually poses a genuine threat to the stability of the ship. 1 single cubic meter of water weighs exactly 1 metric ton. If hundreds of tons of water are violently sloshing from port to starboard, it can throw off the ship's center of gravity and make the rolling even worse. That is why, when the captain knows a severe storm is absolutely unavoidable, one of the very first safety orders given is to drain the swimming pools completely. If you ever walk onto the Lido deck on a cloudy day and notice the pools are suddenly empty and netted over, you need to brace yourself. The captain is preparing the vessel for a fight. As the storm intensifies, the true reality of the situation sets in. You are essentially trapped inside a moving skyscraper. Nowhere is this reality more obvious, or potentially more dangerous, than in the ship's main dining rooms. Imagine sitting down for an elegant 5-course dinner. Suddenly, the floor seems to drop out from beneath you. The ship rolls heavily to 15 degrees. In a normal building on land, gravity pulls everything straight down to the floor. But out here, in the middle of a squall, gravity suddenly pulls everything sideways. The physics in the dining room become weaponized. Wine glasses topple over. Thousands of expensive porcelain plates, heavy silverware, and trays of hot foods slide off the tables and shatter on the floor simultaneously. The sound is absolutely deafening. But if you look closely at the viral footage of these events, you will notice something fascinating about the room itself. Have you ever wondered why cruise ship dining chairs are so incredibly heavy and difficult to pull out? Or why the heavy bases of the main tables are often bolted directly and permanently into the steel deck beneath the carpet? It is exactly for this scenario. If the furniture was not secured or heavily weighted, a sudden, violent tilt would turn those chairs and tables into deadly projectiles, crushing passengers against the walls. And look above you, those massive, beautiful crystal chandeliers hanging in the grand atrium. During a storm, they swing wildly like giant pendulums, but they do not fall. They are engineered with heavy-duty, reinforced steel rigging specifically designed to withstand violent kinetic energy without detaching from the ceiling. The ship is built to take the beating, but the loose items inside, including the people, are not. When the captain inevitably gives the emergency order for all passengers to return to their cabins and stay off the open decks, the psychological toll really begins to take hold. The grand hallways become dangerous obstacle courses. Walking in a straight line is mathematically impossible. Passengers are thrown from wall to wall, desperately grabbing onto the wooden handrails that line the corridors. Suddenly, you realize exactly why those handrails are installed everywhere. Inside your private cabin, the chaos becomes deeply personal. Drawers fly open and slam shut with explosive, terrifying force. Anything left sitting on the vanity, perfume bottles, laptops, jewelry, glasses, becomes airborne. The heavy, automated fire doors in the hallways magnetically lock into place. This is done to prevent fire from spreading, but also to stop disoriented passengers from wandering into dangerous, restricted areas or falling down the stairs. And then comes the seasickness. It is unrelenting and brutal. The ship's medical center gets completely overwhelmed in a matter of minutes, running out of anti-nausea medication as hundreds of people succumb to the motion. The combination of intense physical anxiety, the deafening sound of the wind screaming against the balcony glass, and the relentless, unpredictable dropping of the floor is enough to break even the most experienced, hardened sailors. Passengers often report looking out their balcony glass and seeing nothing but a terrifying, moving wall of black water. These windows are made of incredibly thick, reinforced marine glass, designed to withstand thousands of pounds of pressure per square inch, and usually they hold up just fine. But there are terrifying documented exceptions when the ocean actually breaks through. In December 2023, the expedition ship MS Maud was struck by a massive rogue wave in the North Sea that completely shattered the windows on the ship's navigational bridge, causing a temporary loss of power. Even more terrifying was the incident aboard the Rhapsody of the Seas in April 2016. In the middle of the night, a freak wave struck the vessel in the Mediterranean, violently bursting open 5 passenger cabin windows on Deck 3, flooding the rooms with seawater and shattering glass everywhere. And tragically, in March 2010, the cruise ship Louis Majesty was hit by 3 back-to-back rogue waves that smashed right through the reinforced windows of a Deck 5 passenger lounge. It is a terrifying reality. While the ship itself is built to survive the storm, watching the ocean actively break into the vessel is a nightmare passengers never ever forget. So with all this incredible chaos, with plates smashing, water flying, the hull groaning, and the ship tilting at terrifying, unnatural angles, why don't they just flip over? Can a modern cruise ship actually capsize in a storm? The short answer is, it is incredibly, highly unlikely, and that is entirely thanks to some of the most brilliant marine engineering on the planet. First, you have to understand that cruise ships are essentially giant, unflippable buoys. While they look incredibly top-heavy, like massive, towering apartment blocks stacked precariously on the water, Most of their actual physical weight is located at the very bottom. The massive diesel engines, the heavy fuel tanks, the water desalination plants, and all the heavy industrial machinery are located deep in the belly of the hull, far below the waterline. This gives the ship an extremely low center of gravity. Even if a massive rogue wave pushes the ship to a terrifying 40-degree angle, that heavy bottom will instinctively and violently pull the ship back upright. But the real unsung heroes of the storm are the active fin stabilizers. Deep underwater, extending from the sides of the ship's hull like the wings of an airplane, are massive computer-controlled steel fins. These are connected to heavy-duty hydraulic systems and highly advanced computer gyroscopes. When the computer detects a massive wave pushing the ship to the right, the stabilizers instantly, within fractions of a second, adjust their angle to push the ship back to the left, counteracting the force of the ocean in real time. These incredible fins can eliminate up to 85% of the ship's roll. Without these fins operating, the viral videos you see online would be 100 times worse, and the damage inside would be catastrophic. Up on the bridge, behind the reinforced glass, there is no panic. The captain and the senior officers train for these exact scenarios constantly. They use a time-tested maritime technique called heaving to. This involves turning the ship's bow directly into the oncoming waves. A ship is structurally strongest at its front. By pointing the sharp, reinforced bow directly into the teeth of the storm and maintaining just enough engine power to keep steering control, the ship slices through the waves rather than letting the waves hit the broad, flat side of the vessel. Hitting the side is what causes those terrifying extreme tilts. Experiencing a severe extreme weather event on a modern cruise ship is undeniably traumatizing. The sounds of breaking glass, the feeling of absolute powerlessness, and witnessing the raw, violent power of the open ocean up close are terrifying. People do get injured, mostly from losing their footing or being struck by unsecured flying objects. But the ultimate reality is that modern cruise ships are the ultimate ocean survival machines. They are meticulously designed, tested, and built to withstand physical forces far greater than what they usually encounter on a standard vacation. The shattered plates will eventually be swept up, the swimming pools will be refilled, the sun will come out, and the ship will sail on to its next destination. The next time you step onto one of these massive floating resorts, take a moment to look at the bolted tables, the heavy steel fire doors, and the wooden handrails lining the hallways. They aren't just there for interior decoration. They are a quiet, permanent reminder that while humanity has built incredible, luxurious floating palaces, the ocean always, without fail, has the final say.